I wonder if you ever noticed, our minds are very rarely very quiet. Silent. Having no problems, or having problems, putting them aside for a while, and having a free mind, a mind that's not cluttered, a mind that is not stretching out, not seeking anything, but absolutely quiet, silent, and perhaps observing not only what is happening in the world, but also what is happening in the inner world, in the world of one's own existence, one's own attitudes, travails, just to observe. I wonder if one has ever done this kind of thing. Or we're always seeking, searching, asking, analyzing, demanding, trying to fulfill, trying to follow somebody, some ideal, and so on. Or try to establish a good relationship with another. I wonder why there's this constant struggle and strife and seeking. One goes to India, I don't know why, seeking something extraordinary that's going to happen when you go down to that country. Follow somebody who tells you to dance, to sing, to do whatever you want. And there are those who try to force you to meditate in a certain fashion, accept authority, do certain rituals, shout when you like, and so on. Why are we all doing this? What is our everlasting thirst? What is it that we are seeking? If we could go into that a little bit, try to find out for ourselves what it is that we are longing, searching, seeking, trying to fulfill, trying to become something. Apart from the religious beliefs and dogmas and rituals, which fairly intelligent people have put all those aside, and not going to Tibet or to Japan or try to do Zen Buddhism and all the whole business of it, but remaining quietly at one's own home, and perhaps we could talk over together what is the nature of meditation. And if there is anything in life, in our daily existence, not only material activities and material possessions, money, sex, sensations, but also beyond all that, if there is something really sacred, not put together by thought, not the images that thought has created in various forms, in various cathedrals, temples, and so on, but actually for ourselves find out, perhaps through meditation, being free of all illusion and deceit and thinking very honestly, if there is something that is really sacred, which is the movement of meditation. So first, let us inquire, if we may, think together, what is it that we are hungering after? Most people have had various types and varieties of experiences. Not only sensual experiences, but incidents that have brought about various emotional, sensational, and romantic movements, but also these experiences that one has had are rather trivial, and perhaps all experiences are rather trivial. And when we begin to inquire what it is that we are all seeking, wanting, longing, is it a superficial, mere sensory, or something which desire seeks, which must obviously be rather superficial? And can we, in thinking over together, move from the superficiality to a more deeper, wider inquiry? Right? That we are, you and the speaker, are thinking out together. If all our longings are merely superficial, sensory demands, please, or is the longing, the searching, the thirst for something far beyond all that? You understand my question? How do you inquire into this? When you are put this question, whether your inquiry, your longing, is merely superficial, such as wanting more money, better relationship, trying to fulfill, trying to become happy, trying to, superficially, on the surface, how do you inquire into that? Through analysis? Analysis is still the same movement of thought. Looking back. And analytically, thought examining itself and its accidents, its experiences, its examination will still be limited. Because thought is limited. That's clear. But that's the only instrument we have. And so we keep on repeating, using the same instrument, knowing that it's limited, and knowing that it cannot solve the problem, or have the capacity to inquire very deeply, and yet we keep on doing this. Right? We never realize, I think, that this instrument, however blunt, however used up, cannot solve the problem, and therefore put it aside. We don't seem to be capable of doing that. Why? Please inquire with me. You understand my question? Thought has created the technological world. Right? Thought has created all the divisions in the world. Thought has created not only national divisions, but religious divisions, ideological divisions, every form of divisions between two people. However much they may think they love each other, there is still this division. And thought is responsible for it, which is obvious. Would we accept that? That thought in its activity will inevitably, being limited, being the result of the past, must inevitably bring about a division and therefore limit it. Thought can never see the whole, right? Now, can we ask, is such activity superficial? Or can thought, with its limitation, inquire more deeply? You follow what I'm saying? You understood each other? Can we go on? Please, it's not verbal explanation. It's not that verbally we are clear. Image out of that observation and acting according to that image. Right? Can one merely observe, which is to learn, to observe and to learn, or to be aware the movement of thought interfering with that observation, to learn about it, which is actual discipline, to learn. Wonderful. Are we following each other? Are we doing it as we're talking, or you're going to think it over? Please, we're all doing it together, thinking it out together. So, we are saying, when there is observation into, say, our longing, our thirst for something, can you observe without any motive? Motive being the past, which may be the desire, the conclusion of thought, without the past not interfering with the actual observation. Can we do that? That's to learn. This whole movement, the observation, the interference of thought, and what the result and the effect of all this movement, just to observe. One wants to learn. Learning is the accumulation of knowledge, generally, right? School, college, university, or learning about about relationship, and so on, learning. Having accumulated knowledge, then act, right? The purpose of learning is to accumulate knowledge, and from that act skillfully or unskillfully, depending. Or you act, and therefore there is always this self-centered movement, observation, and acting according to that image. Right? Can one merely observe, which is to learn, to observe and to learn, or to be aware the movement of thought interfering with that observation, to learn about it, which is actual discipline, to learn. Wonderful. Are we following each other? Are we doing it as we're talking, or you're going to think it over? Please, we're all doing it together, thinking it out together. So, we are saying, when there is observation into, say, our longing, our thirst for something, can you observe without any motive? Motive being the past, which may be the desire, the conclusion of thought, without the past not interfering with the actual observation. Can we do that? That's to learn. This whole movement, the observation, the interference of thought, and what the result and the effect of all this movement, just to observe. One wants to learn. Learning is the accumulation of knowledge, generally, right? School, college, university, or learning about about relationship, and so on, learning. Having accumulated knowledge, then act, right? The purpose of learning is to accumulate knowledge, and from that act skillfully or unskillfully, depending. Or you act, and therefore there is always this self-centered movement. And the society which we have created is based on the self-centered problems, self-centered ambitions, fulfillment, and the self-centered discipline which says, I must, which brings about violence. We are inquiring into all that which we have, and also we are inquiring into a mind, your mind, mind. You understand? When we use the word mind, it's not your mind or my mind, mind. Because your mind is like the mind of thousands and millions of people, right? Striving, struggling, demanding, following, accepting, obeying, idealizing, belonging to some religion, sorrow, pain, anxiety is what your mind is that, and the other minds are like that, right? So, your mind is not yours. It's the mind. I don't know if you see this. You may not see this because your vanity, your sense of individual importance may prevent this observation which is actual. Right? I wonder if you'll see this. That's why, until we really understand this, that we human beings are so similar psychologically. We human beings, right throughout the world, are so unhappy. They all pray, but prayer doesn't answer this problem. They're still unhappy, still striving, still despairing. This is the common mind. And so when we are inquiring into the human being, not me and you. We are human beings. Something that is absolutely incorruptible. So find out for yourself as a human being, like the rest of the other human beings in the world, what is it one is longing, seeking, hungering after? if one is wanting experience, because one has had sensory experiences, sexual experiences, the experiences of various kinds, and when he said, that's enough, I've had all those, but I want some other cup. You follow? Some more. Is that what you're seeking? Some experience which will give you great delight, great understanding, an illumination, a transformation. How will you find out? First of all, to find out, one must be free of all illusion, right? Which means terrible honesty, so that your mind doesn't deceive itself, right? Not to deceive itself, one must understand the whole nature of desire. Right? Because it is desire that creates illusion. Through desire, one wants fulfillment. One hopes for something more. So, unless you comprehend the whole nature and structure of desire, it will inevitably create illusion. And we went into the question of desire. So can your mind, having understood the activity of desire, know its relative value, and therefore be free to observe, which means to observe without any kind of illusion. Nationalism is an illusion, right? Obviously. That's very easy. The illusions that thought has created, right? Is one aware of the illusions? Come on, sirs. And when the mind is free of illusions, and so being absolutely without any hypocrisy, being clear, honest, then we can begin to inquire into something, asking whether there is a timeless existence. You understand? A timeless truth. That is, this is where meditation comes into being, right? You following all this? Have any of you done meditation? Probably not, or probably have. Transcendental meditation, Tibetan meditation, the Hindu meditation, the Buddhist meditation, the Zen meditation. Probably you have played with all those, seriously or flippantly. All those, as far as one can understand, and speaker has discussed this question with all the scholars of all the various circuses, and their whole concept is that thought must be controlled. one must have discipline. One must subjugate one's own feeling to something other than what is. Through awareness, through control, through constant alertness. You know all this, don't you? And repeat certain mantras, slogans. You can repeat Amen or Coca-Cola or what you like. No, don't laugh. They're all similar. So what we are saying is, meditation has been accepted to be all this. Now, if you want to find out what is meditation, not just accept what somebody says, if you want to find out, certain obvious things are necessary. There must be no authority. Because then you depend on that. Right? Obviously. Therefore, you are struggling. You are imitating, conforming. And one must understand the nature of control. Who is the controller? You understand? You understand this? I wonder if you understand all this. No? Are you interested in all this? Thought being limited, and knowledge, which is stored up in the brain as memory, and that memory acting as thought in action. So knowledge is always part of ignorance. Right? We went into that. So what takes place in the mind? You understand, the mind, as we've gone into it, is not only the capacity to think clearly, objectively, impersonally, and the things that thought has created, technologically, all the rest of it in the world, and thought has also created all the inward problems.